Hello Snugglebugs, welcome to today's video. We're going over the 24.22 patch notes that just got released from Blizzard. So I will also say this was supposed to be going live today, depending on when this video goes up. I should say when you see this video, so it may already be live as it is. I just thought we'd go over it, give our take on the changes relatively quickly, and say, maybe what we like, what we don't like, and hope that honestly the standard gameplay changes a little bit. There are some things that we expected and some things that I expected to be on here that aren't, to be quite honest with you, but let's go through them here. So as you can kind of see at the bottom, the first change is they are changing Wild Heart Guff. So what they're doing is they didn't increase him to 6 mana like a lot of people thought they might to push him back, but instead both his original battle cry and his new hero power, instead of giving you a full mana crystal, it's giving you an empty mana crystal, similar to the way that Wild Growth works. And I actually personally think that this is a bigger nerf to it than increasing it to 6 mana. I've already seen some people from the time this went up to the time I recorded this video, not thinking this is enough of a nerf. But to me, changing it to an empty mana crystal doesn't just slow it down by the one initial turn, like making it to 6 mana, but actually just slows it down as a whole. You can no longer, say you have 6 mana, you can't hero power and then play Nourish because you only have 4 mana left. It only gives you the empty crystal. So there's so many times when Guff would be played that people would weave in effectively a 1 mana hero power to ramp that they might not be able to do that anymore. And I think that's the reason I personally think this will slow Guff down a lot. Won't kill him, won't make the card useless, but it's going to make your turns, I think you have to decide if you're going to hero power or play cards in your hand, and there's going to be a lot less being able to do both of those things. And then just make sure I get this captured correctly on the screen here. They are reverting Edwin Device Kingpin. So it was a 4 mana 4/4. I think it was either the last patch or two. I think it was just the last patch. They buffed it to become a 3 mana 3/3, and they're just reverting the buff. This is the only card, and spoiler alert, that they're changing for Rogue, and I don't know if it's going to be enough. They're not changing anything to do with Walpole Knowles interaction, the location. With these other changes that I'll be going after over in a second, as well as Guff, I think Rogue was already in a really powerful spot with the Miracle Rogue, especially in High Legend, and with this being the only nerf, the only change to the deck, I'm a bit worried that maybe this will become the deck, the new, or continue to dominate, I'll say. But I guess, we'll have to wait and see. They have more data than we do. Maybe Edwin truly was the culprit, and yeah, we'll see. Next up, they are nerfing the Magister Dawngrasp hero power. So it's not showing the card here, but the hero card, Magister Dawngrasp, for Mage used to be, as it says here, do 2 damage and an honorable kill, gain 2, so it would go up. And then if people played Wildfires beforehand, we all know it could go from 4 to 6 to 8. And within a few turns, you have like a 2 mana Pyroblast, and then you just sort of ping your opponent every turn. They're just nerfing that down, so the honorable kill is only 1 damage. Obviously, nerfing the scaling that hard makes it worse. I actually think I've seen a lot of situations where this going from, say, 2 to 4 or 3 to 5, your opponent has weirdly health minions, makes it so it doesn't get upgraded. Obviously worse, but I don't think it's going to be as big of an impact as maybe some people think it is, because you have your Reckless Apprentices that's going to be able to ping everything and scale it up just as quickly, I think, or relatively quickly. So a nice change, but I don't think it's as breaking as some people might think it is at first glance. But on top of that, for Mage, they're actually changing the Nightcloak Sanctum. So the Nightcloak Sanctum, they're putting it down to 2 durability. So when you include the fact that if you have 2 copies of this in your deck, it's actually going to be, in a way, reducing the amount of skeletons you get by the 2, plus the amount of freezes you have in your deck, which, let's face it, Freeze Mage has definitely been something people have been annoyed with in all of Hearthstone history. So removing a few freezes, some skeletons, which, again, I think with the Spooky Mage, the damage from those skeletons ends up getting your opponent down low enough that hero power can finish the job later. So a few less skeletons, few less freezes. Good change in my opinion. Hopefully it helps. Another long coming change that a lot of people have been asking for is with the Defend the Dwarven District, the quest hunter first stage of the quest. To my knowledge, they're only changing the first stage of the quest from deal damage with 2 spells to 3. So it's going to slow them down to getting their free hero power and their quest reward by 1. Now, on one hand, that slows them down. I will say, in a weird, strange way, in certain decks, I don't want to call this a buff, but could make this more reliable. So a lot of people prefer to play the hero card before they finish their quest, so their animal companions are 0 mana, right? So in a way, this could help them control the board without having to worry about the math of playing the hero card. Obviously, that's just me playing devil's advocate to try to think of a positive spin on this, but overall, it's good that you're just slowing it down. Hopefully, it'll make the deck seem a little less, I don't want to say annoying, but annoying to play against. So the next nerf here is one that I am pretty happy about. So we can, Kael'thas Sin Strider. So this card was 6, and now they're bumping it all the way up to 8, but then they're making it so the minion costs 0, or no, it already started. But yeah, so they're bumping it from 6 to 8. Sorry, I was thinking 1, but that's the spell guy because he was nerfed. And effectively what they're trying to do here, what they are doing here for everything other than Druid, is they're going to make it impossible, or at least a lot more difficult, to play your Kael'thas, Bran, and Denathrius combos, right? They're trying to eliminate the fact that you could play all 3. Now, Druid will still be able to do that, because obviously they'll have more than 20 mana. Shaman, who's another deck that does that quite a bit, will still be able to do that, because they can actually go like Bolner, Kael'thas, and Denathrius, but they're toning it back so the combo won't be able to be played in every single deck, which we know it is right now. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with the meta, and maybe if it'll push those decks that can still do that to the dominant side of the control board. But yeah, we'll see. And honestly, one that kind of surprised me is the Smothering Starfish. So they nerf this from a 3 mana to a 4 mana card. I know a lot of people are playing this because, a lot of decks buff up minions on the board or have death rattles at the skeleton, so silence has become really big. But I guess the reason I'm surprised is just because on a feel perspective, which I guess is where I come from with a lot of these, I never felt as though I was like, oh, I can't believe these people are playing Smothering Starfish. Like, silence has always been a pretty integral part of the game, so it just sort of surprises me. I guess it is 4 mana, but it looks like, yeah, let's say if we read the dev comment here real quick, the goal for this card was to make a strong tech card, but the cost to include in your deck was supposed to be low enough that it was acting like a staple than a tech card. So what they're saying is that it was supposed to be in sort of a couple of decks here and there who needed a way to maybe get past a taunt or something for a finisher, but because it was 3 mana, people just found it too easy to play it, and like worst case scenario, they play it and silence 1 minion to get a 3 mana 2/4. So they're just bumping it up to make it feel like more for the effect than the body of the card. So now we're getting into surprisingly some buffs I was not expecting. So School Teacher, they're bumping up from a 4 mana 4/3 to a 4 mana 4/4. Not much to say there. I guess the idea here is it just makes it less susceptible to a lot of 2 mana removal spells, so it's a little stickier, a little better to use. And they also are giving a small buff to our Alliance Bannerman for Paladin. It's becoming a 3 mana 2/2. Not a huge change. For 3 mana, it still gets, like, the effect's not changing, it's just giving it 1 additional health. And again, I think it's similar to the School Teacher, where the idea is before you play it, it would feel really bad, because classes, especially like, say, Demon Hunter, Mage, or Druid, who have access to cheap pings, might be able to play a card and just ping it down, and it felt like, you didn't get any board presence whatsoever. Now, it's still not a great statted minion, but it just maybe removes some of those super easy removal options. Now, the other thing I'll note, the other thing I'd like to note is there are patch notes here for Battlegrounds, to which what I'm actually going to do is I will try to put a link in the description down below. I recommend going to It's Ben's channel to review, as he focuses more on Battlegrounds and could probably give a better feedback on those notes than I can, as well as there's a lot of duels changes, to which I will also leave a link down below to Regis Kilbin's channel, as he is much more of, again, a duels heavy expert than I am, so I don't want to just read these patch notes. You can all, again, I'll put the link to the patch notes in the description, so you can all go read them yourself. But if you want someone with a bit more experience to talk about things other than standard, like we play mostly here on the channel, I would go check those out. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.